Right, so there's a few people asking where some of the off-piste stuff is off the red. If you're familiar with this bit, if you don't know where you are, as you go up, you finish Tornado Alley, you cross over onto what's called Lewis Gun, you climb all the way to the top, and then you loop back round and you come up this sloppy bit just here where you cross over the fire road, and then to continue with the red you'll carry on down there and eventually bear right. If you stop just here and turn around, literally the off-piste is next to you. If you take a left in there, you're actually going part way up the wrong bit of the trail, but you can push into the middle, and that's where all the trenches are, and there's several loops all around there, and then you can cross over this fire road again, and then you're into the other trenches, which takes you right back out down to the fire road again. So if you're looking for one of the off-piste sections, which is called the Rat Run, that's where it is. So if we continue down here, you come to a little bit of a crossroads. Just a tiny bit of single track will come out from the left hand side, go straight across to the right. So that's where the first half of the TT sections is. You'll come out there after doing a few loops, and then you'll come into this bit, and there's several little bits in here that you can loop round as well before rejoining on the fire road. So that's one of the bits, and you can go a multitude of different ways. You can go left, straight on, right, and mix it up a little bit. There are a number of different little ways. A couple of little punchy little climbs, don't be deceived by the camera. You can either go left there, back on the fire road, you can loop back round here, and there's a nice little drop and jump, kind of a figure of 8 really, into there. It's not a massive section, but it's off the beaten track. Not a lot of people know it's there, to be honest, but it's good fun. If you're on the red, it's a nice little addition to the route. And there you go, that's one of the bits. So another way you can get to the rat hole, depending on how good your knowledge of pines is, straight in front of me, that's where Tornado Alley comes down, finishes on the fire road there, and then climbs back up Lewis Gun Range. And you can pedal back up here to go to the top. If you go left at this fork here and go right to the top, you'll see a little cut-in on the left hand side. It's not immediately obvious, but you can see where the trail starts. That is the top of the Rat Run, where all the big trenches are. And again, you've got several loops in there that you can make up a few different ways around. Some of the other stuff is off the blue route, and again there's a multitude of ways you can go. If you stay on the main, I'm pointing over there, I don't know if you can see over there, but if you follow that blue route up to the top as though you're going towards the downhill and the bike park, you continue straight on the blue route. That will loop right round the new bit that they've put in, and then when you've gone over a bit of a crossroads, once you've been going for about half a mile, if you look to your left, you'll see the elevation start to build up on the left hand side. Look for some little cut-ins around there, and again there's some nice little loops around there. That's where the Fishbowl is, the Bomb Hole, the Dragon's Back, called a multitude of names really depending on who you speak to, but there's some nice little bits of off-piste down there. So another alternative way to get to Fishbowl and the Dragon's Back, there's the bike park entrance. Come out the bike park, turn right, and just down here there's a little bit of a lay-by on your left hand side. So if you carry on straight down there, you'll get back onto the blue. There is a little cut through just here, a bit more single track, depending on time of year that you come down here, can be a little bit overgrown, especially in summer. It's not so bad in winter. Normally coming back this way, to be honest, and coming down this rather than pedalling up it. Over to my right hand side, running more or less parallel with the main blue route. Quite a nice bit of single track this. You can go either way there, left or right, to be honest. Right, so this is part of the Dragon's Back. Again, I'd normally be coming the opposite way, heading towards the bike park, but you can see here there's a number of little lines that drop down. You can almost do a loop. They all lead back down to the blue route, go to the end where the first fork is, loop back round up the hill, and you'll see where you can rejoin into this section. But there's loads of nice little short bits on here where you can ride the full length across to the end. And then over to the left hand side in a bit is where the Fishbowl is. So we're going to have a look at that first, and then we can do the other bits as we head back that way towards the downhills and bike park. That bit's probably one of my favourites on here. It's nice and flowy, and then there's a couple of little jumps on there. You can roll everything. If you hit them right, they're quite nice. So just down there to my right, that's where you'll come back up here off the blue route, and then there's a line behind me, or if you just go to the top of the hill, turn left, there's another line which all leads onto the same one, and then you've got about 4 or 5 little chutes that all lead back down to the blue, and you can do a little bit of a loop. Then we're going up here, either straight up or round to the side. There's a little bit of a ridge, and then we'll take a left, and that's going towards the Fishbowl. So not very far from the bike park at all, really. It's probably the best way of explaining how to get here, but you can get here off the red as well, but we're the wrong side of the trails to be showing you that bit. So just a short ride along this ridge. It does go further down, but we're going left in a minute. Remember where it is, just here. You can see where the trail is. If you follow that all the way down, that will take you to where it joins off the red. From memory, I think it's from the top of the section called Dog Soldiers. And just be going straight on. You take a left. Hi mate. Hey up. How you doing? Not bad. You're on. Right, so this bit's called the Fishbowl or the Bomb Hole or a multitude of other names. It probably looks, well, it's not steep, to be fair, in the big scheme of things, but it's steeper than it definitely looks on the GoPro. If you're coming in off the red, you'll come in that way, come in round about just there. So there's a couple of lines, you can go straight down there, which is nice and smooth. If you come in from the right, there's a little bit of a drop off, it's only tiny. If you've got an e-bike or legs of iron, you can go up that way, but it is a bit rooty at the top, and you'll probably run out of steam before you get to the top and then come tumbling back downwards. I've seen a few people do that. Yeah, it's a nice little fun section just to have a play on for a bit if you're not been here before and in this neck of the woods. So this is the Fishbowl. And if you're going to do the drop in, always come and have a look and make sure there's nobody in the bottom, because I came up here once and there's two lads digging in the bottom, and I'd have probably landed on top of them if I'd not looked. So I stick to this little line here. There's a nice little drop off. It's nothing, you just drop off it and that'll give you enough power to get up there without pedalling too much. I've seen people launching off the top of there when they've got an e-bike and getting quite a bit of height off the top of that lift, but I ain't got the power in my legs to keep it going. So yeah, that's another bit of the off-piste. Get back on the dragon's back and we'll do one of those little loops down onto the blue. Still in the wrong bloody gear now. If you ride here regular, let me know what you call that bit. I used to call it the bomb hole, and then somebody else says no, it's called the fishbowl. So yeah, let me know what you call it. So straight down here, straight across. You can go left there, but I always go right and then swoop back round. It's a nice little jump at the bottom of this section. You can come in from that side as well. They're only little jumps. And then you're back on the main blue route, going this way. So you see all along that ridge, lots of little lines. And then as you get to the bottom of here, you'll loop round to your left and you can do some more. I'm not doing them all today, but that's where they are. So if you look where the big log is, this is the alternative way to get back on that line. It'll sometimes be a bit boggy down here. It's been really wet. This gives you a nicer run in to that little jump. I'm not going down there again, pedal back up. So I'm going to go back along the dragon's back and back towards the downhills and bike park. And there is another off-piste bit which is just on the very outskirts of Pine. It's off Route 6, which I'll show you when I get over there. Right, so we've cut through the bike park and downhill sections, back on the blue. So if you've done this before, this bit will be familiar. This goes right down to the bottom and then sweeps round to the left, continues on the blue. But we're going to go right in a minute, because just the other side of this drop is Route 6, and then Route 6 splits to go all the way out to Southwell, Southwell, depending on where you're from, or out towards the desert, which has got masses of places, but it's geared more for motocross than it is mountain biking, to be honest. So that's where the blue will continue, but we're going to cut up here to save climbing up that massive hill. It's nice and flat. So this is Route 6, heading out of Pines. See over to my right, there's loads and loads of massive chutes where all the motocross bikes come. Just the other side of that ridge, there's a vast expanse called the desert. You'll hear the motorbikes on a weekend up there. Not a lot that's great for mountain biking, to be honest, unless it's really, really dry, which it isn't at the minute. Come over this bridge, there is a nice little drop-in chute down to there. You can follow that down and then join back onto the blue, cut back into the bottom of the bike park. Alternatively, if you go right at the bottom of the chute, that is the old blue route, which doesn't get ridden very often now, but there's probably another 3-4 miles of trail going all the way out and then looping back round to where the long stretch of blue is, where it joins back onto and crosses over where the red is. So it's worth a ride. It's not been ridden much, I would say, in the last couple of years, so lots of leaves and debris on it, but it is a nice pedal round if you fancy somewhere different. And you'll see where the trails are. They are clearly marked out, and you'll see some of the old sections as well. So yeah, it's worth a ride if you've never done it before. So that's where you carry on if you were going on Route 6. That's about 13 mile all the way to Southall, Southwell. If you bear right, you end up on this little track. This goes around the edge of the desert, and there is a nice little trail called Roller Coaster Heaven and something else, I forget what it's called now, just over where those trees are. I could probably make a video that lasts all day about all the little bits that are classed as off-piste around Pines, but there's just too much. But if you're in this area, straight in front of me you see that high peak. You probably can't see it because of the daylight. There's a big flagpole up there. That's about the highest bit of elevation you'll get around here. You can see for literally miles. And you come out of this section we're going to do in a minute, you've got the option of climbing up to the top of there. There's quite a few sections around there as well, which are worth having a look for when it's a bit drier, and there's tons of stuff all in here, and you could probably lose yourself in the desert for a good half a day as well. But this is a bit called Roller Coaster Heaven, I think. I'll put it on the screen what it's officially called on Strava. This can get wet and it can be quite boggy, so take it steady. When it gets wet, it's really wet, but when it's dry, it's just quite good fun. Normally like that in every little hollow when it's been raining. It's not too bad today. It's a little bit of surface water here and there, but nothing much. And you come out of the woods and then straight back in, sharp left, and do the second half. A few videos on this section at various times in the year. It's quite nice. It's much better in summer when it's bone dry. It does run quite fast and all the puddles have dried out. It's a bit soft today. So these are all some of the lesser known bits around Pines, unless you're a local. If you follow that round, go round to your right, you come to a big tunnel, you go under there, you can climb up the hill, and on your right hand side you'll see a bit of a cut in. There's some stuff around there as well, or you can loop all the way back to where we've come. There is a path running parallel to what we've just done as well, which is an easier way of pedalling, or you can just do this in reverse, or you can go that way and end up back on the blue as well. Right, so I've just done a big loop from the end of the last section you've watched. It has just come back to me. Single track Heaven and Roller Coaster are the two STRAVA segments, and then we're back on the outskirts of the desert. So we'll go back to where we came, we'll drop down that chute off the bridge, and then I'm going to have a little play on the bike park and downhills for a bit. So that's most of the off-piste. There is loads and loads. I could literally talk all day with little bits here and little bits there, but they're the main bits. So hopefully you found that useful. If you did, leave me a comment below. It's great to get some feedback, good or bad. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. It really does make all the difference to YouTube creators when you get a bit of feedback and people enjoying your work. So yeah, let's head to the top of the bridge and drop down the chute to doom. Right, so you can carry on a little bit further and then drop onto the bottom of the blue where we came up, or if you fancy it, there's a nice little chute down here that takes you to the bottom near the bike park. Camera never does it justice. So this bit here is called Eacroom Road, and then literally just over there, that's where the bike park is.